Hey, hey.
No, 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 don't trust me yet. I give you my trust, I give you my love, I told you the truth.
What's going on?
My dreams told you about my child when I was a youth. Think about the times
Man,
we had
about to have a
conversations sitting over the roof. Appreciate the moments, appreciate the
conversation,
memories we both built
you
and
know,
shared.
about
Secrets that you
aliens and
won't
energy.
hear, I hold you to my heart and it's there. Even just while you cried, you right by my side, told you to
Aliens and energy is the conversation that I want to have because I believe that one and the same is you know, you know, aliens and energy. They aliens want energy. You know what I mean? And what are the aliens? Are we a part of the aliens? Are we being used by the aliens or manipulated through the technology that we have to harness energy for these aliens, different minerals that they need, different things of that nature. So they help evolution along in a way. You know, Darwin theory is that we elevated from primates. You know, monkeys and orangutans and all different shapes and forms. You know what I mean? And based upon the DNA that you got in you, um, it's how they, can know your certain characteristics or the certain energy that you possess, how intelligent you can or can't be. You know what I mean? And that's the human side of us. That's the, you know, Darwin theory, you know what I mean, in play right there, the human side. But when you look at the spiritual side, uh, we still do have some spiritual connection with them because we still have empathy. We still can think, feel, have emotions, but we're not the same. We're able to comprehend things on a different level, whether that be on a lower level, or on the same level. Either way is, you know, in light of what I'm dealing with, right? I'm gonna just use me as an example. I don't want to go off on a UFO tangent, this and that. I want to start purely where I'm at with it and what I noticed, right? I noticed that people can be made to have understanding or not. Like if somebody if something or if somebody don't want you to understand something, you won't, right? The comprehension level is what I'm talking about. You know, it's like you could tell a person something and they just don't really hear what you're saying, but they don't really get the message. And I think it's because some people are made to not get it. You know what I mean? Some people are made to not get it, especially around those who get the full scope of what's really going on out here. You know what I mean? When you really get the broad spectrum, the full picture of what's going on out here, a lot of people around you. First of all, you probably won't have a lot of people around you, and the people that are around you, um, they really don't understand or grasp what you're talking about. Very few. Maybe, you might be able to get through to somebody, and at a particular point in time, you might not even want to get through to them because you don't want them to deal with the things that you're dealing with. Because once you know, it's not even a quid pro quo. It's plain out energy slavery. You know what I mean? Um, these companies like Pico Energy, um, I'm not talking about the gas because the gas come from where? The gas normally comes from the earth or whatever refinery that is. Where does the energy come from? The water. That's another resource of the earth, right? I'm just thinking about things that your house runs off of, right? All city installations. Pico Energy. I know you got a big power grid right there. You got to keep everybody wired up with the FiOS and all that, 4G and 5G hotspots and things like that. But I do believe that the forces on this earth is not just like, okay, when you get into the Anunnaki story, right? Anunnaki basically, a couple of the Anunnakis, I don't want to get into it. If you want to read the Anunnaki story, you could go read it and then come back if you choose to, look at this for the information I'm presenting. But basically, they created a lesser being with the potential of unlocking the secrets to the universe, right? With encoded in our DNA. But the lesser beings were to what? Mine for gold, right? Different minerals and things that they might need on their planet that they depleted, or for whatever reason we're here to mine this gold. I think the gold mining is really for our benefit. Maybe once they needed that, or I don't know. But I think really the gold mining thing is our thing because we like shiny shit. I think that we come from a place that has a lot of shiny stuff at at our disposal, and we like that. We like gold, and we like all of that. We like diamonds, and we like precious stones and emeralds and things. I believe all of that is for us. Trinkets and things to make us feel very royal. But really, no matter how rich you get, it's still a slave. I believe it's about our energy. You know, um, I do believe they control us through our energy, using whatever type of ancient technology that they had, that they updated, and now it's modernized to do all these things through our phones, through our devices, through our electrical systems, through Pico Energy, you know, um, through people who run the city. The housing, I'm going to tell you this. There's a lot of things that go on out here that's all tied together, right? And I tied them together in a lot of different ways. I don't want to get into my own investigations and research and stuff like that, but I tied a lot of this together. The property, right? Your houses, businesses, whomever got what, stadiums, all of this shit is all tied together, right? So your housing, the property, right? I put some posts on Facebook. I'm not even gonna go into that because I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole of legal organized crime in this city. I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole. But property, right? Then you think about the energy, Pico Energy. Who's one of the biggest property holders in Philadelphia? Scanner Pico real estate company, right? Then you got Pico Energy, and these companies deal with other major companies in Philadelphia. And Pico Energy does what? Energy, right? They store energy, they give energy, they into all that shit. Without Pico, the city wouldn't run. Like literally, without Pico, the city wouldn't run. Literally, right? Because everything is using Pico energy. You know what I mean? Everything is using energy. And if you didn't have Pico energy, you wouldn't have power in your household right now. The fan wouldn't be blowing behind me without Pico energy, right? It's like you can't live with them, you can't live without them, right? Because the bills go up and go down and all that crap. Plus, more than likely, they have a stake in your house, in your home. Um, Not just to the property, neither. I'm talking about in you. Like, the energy that you possess is not all from you. Anytime a person could control what you watching, how you watch it, um, what you're consuming, because you put their electricity, you put their energy into your phones and everything. When you charge up your phone, where's that energy coming from? Pico. Energy has a frequency, has a vibration. All of these things tie in together. So they've been feeding you for a long time. Maybe not sustenance, maybe not food, but they've been feeding you with their power for a long time, with their electricity for a long time. Um, I do believe that they're attached to some, I don't know. They got some ancient, I don't want to say I don't know. I'm sorry about saying that. They have some ancient knowledge, some ancient weaponry, some trickery, some agenda maybe, where they steal energy from people. This energy is passive. This energy they get this energy from the sun, but they know how to harness this energy, right? And everybody knows whoever harnessed the energy, whoever's turning on the lights, on or off, whoever control whether the lights go on or off, ultimately runs everything, runs the city. You know what I mean? You look down at what is called the live place down there where the basketball stadium's at. All of that shit. All of this is electricity. You know what I mean? More than likely, if you can see this video or hear this video or hear this podcast, use energy to charge up your phone. None of us are running around with generators that run off water and that we makeshift or made ourselves somehow with a windmill. I believe that these people are in communication, in contacts, in cahoots with um, powers or things beyond this world. I don't want to say demonic energy because they may use it in a demonic way, but I can't call, I can't say that somebody's doing, playing with demonic energy. I can say that it's not of this world. You know what I mean? The spiritual shit that they do, the the manipulation of your energy and your powers, what they do, things like that is not of this world. The actual encapsulation of the energy that you give. I do believe that they have the power to make you happy, sad, depressed, all these type of things. You know, this this episode of my podcast is just purely to just, put that out there, to put out what I suspect. I mean, I still got research to do. I have a lot of research to do on this. And there's really no way you could find it at. I found a few documents in the past when I was going into this, and then it kind of slipped my mind, and now it's coming back to the forefront. Me thinking, thinking about different things and different scenarios. It's like then I hear other people's point of views when they think about, where do we get all this technology from? Is our government um, in contact with UFOs and aliens and things like that, extraterrestrials, different things like that. And then I think about the fact that technically, you know, when we pass, our energy transfers to another place, a space and time. So when I think about that, technically, part of us are alien, even though we're still from here, Mother Nature, because you know what I mean. If I was to go out of space without a bubble suit on, this body would perish. Yeah, my soul would be closer to home, but this body would perish because this body is not from that atmosphere, from that place. This body might not be able to survive where the soul has to go. You know what I mean? So when you take that, then you take into account that there were races of people that were influenced by, you know, a different theocracy. You know, by a different theocracy. I trust me, I said it right. Look up the word theocracy. That's like a spiritual government. It's not religion. Your theocracy can be purely yours and yours only. right? Like they appoint some people into the government, into different government positions, because they believe that they have a certain spiritual connection with a higher power. I'm not going to speak on the bloodline and all that, because they could just be making up bullshit just to make sure that they kids, grandkids, and all their parents and all that stuff, and they lineage stay attached to that government and stay in power. You know, when they say that everybody's connected to a certain bloodline, what I believe it is a spiritual. It's a spiritual thing. Why they want to make sure that you're connected to a certain bloodline. You know what I mean? In order for you to hold a high ranking position in the government and you know in the government and in a political realm, you got to be connected in a certain way. So that's that. I believe that's because a lot of us can interpret certain things. Not a lot of us, but some of us can interpret certain things and understand certain things that a lot can't. You know, when you're more into the physical thing, like okay, take a sports person, right? A guy that's into sports, heavy, diehard sports fan, right? This dude might not be a very spiritual person at all. All the concepts I'm talking about might fly over his head because he's not a spiritual guy. But he could tell you everything about every Super Bowl that ever happened and every team that exists in the AFC and the NFC and who's the best football player. He got a lot of knowledge on that type of stuff, right? And that's because that guy is a more physical type of person. He likes sports, he likes boxing, he's very much into the world and things like that. Beer, boobs, basketball, football, yay. You know what I mean? That's what he on. Then you have people that's more spiritual, people that's going to actually dive into spiritual things and talk about different, walks of life and different ways of thinking spiritually and different knowledge that you can gain in the spiritual aspect of things instead of being so physical. Then you have people that's all about your mental, all about your mentality, all about the brain works, all about you know what I mean? Some of those people, they become Scientologists. They don't want to hear nothing about the, spirituality, whether it's religion or not. They are science based people. You know what I mean? If this wouldn't happen, this, and it's all basically a coincidence that we're all living today, and it's all science, and it's all this and that. Um, I can understand. I can see. I could take all three's point of view. You know what I mean? Because we are physical, right? We are spiritual as well. You definitely gotta think, in the spiritual sense of things. But at the same time, we are scientific. You know what I mean? A lot of the things that we know today, we wouldn't know if it wasn't for a scientist or somebody doing research or doing different studies on people, on space, on whatever beings are out there, studying writings and different hieroglyphs that was left here from the past, from the ancient past, and things like that. And it's like, boom. When you take all three of those and put them together, that's me. You know, I believe that we are spiritual, right? First and foremost. But I believe that our spirituality and what we are and how we grow and what we become in life is manipulated by technology. Um, the technology is, I don't want to say demonized, but our technology has been demon driven for a long time. Like, For some, it's good and it works out for the best or whatever. If if they're meeting whatever agenda or quota that they have to meet, I guess if enough people um, want you in front of them, then they'll put you in front of those people. And I believe that that's the case because you get them a lot of energy. You know, when a comedian can pack a stadium and have people cheering at at the top of their voices and everything for them, that's a whole lot of energy coming out of that stadium. And when I think about ancient stadiums, I think about Rome, Greece, you know, um, the Colosseums, all of these places where they would hold great events and great fights and things like that to appease the Roman gods. I believe a lot of that is going on today here in America. I do believe that they did those things when they held those Coliseum matches and those different spectacles and those things that would bring about all that energy in the people. And we think back about our own Indian ancestors and how they would have rain dances and chants, and they would have a circle where they would send out certain vibrations and energies at different times of years, at different times of at different times of the year, different days for different reasons. um, they would have these chants and things. And I believe, in a way, in a secretive way, not even in a secretive way, it's just it's just them doing it in front of your face without you really knowing what they're doing. But when they pack these stadiums with everybody and everybody's cheering in a certain way, then they could control the crowd, how they cheering, yay, and then somebody might come and give you a sob story. Then at a certain time, everybody's saying, oh, and you know what I mean? How they could take and drastically change your emotional state based upon what one figure or a few figures on stage is doing or conveying to you. You know what I mean? They could change your energy frequency and different things like that. I believe that that's done intentionally. I believe that they're energy thieves. They want to make certain people feel certain ways. They want you to they want you to emit a different type of energy at different times, at different time periods of your life, at different time periods of whatever season's going on, whether it's the season of this or that, whatever holiday, whatever pagan god they're worshiping. You know what I mean? Whatever energy that wants to feel at that moment, whatever alien higher being wants at that moment. You know what I mean? And they know what they want at that moment because they have the calendars. They already know um, how to line up certain things. It's just like holidays come through. Every holiday they want you to what? Feel, this is the season of giving. You know what I mean? This is the season for being thankful. This and that. You know what I mean? They know what they want from you. They know what kind of energy they want from you at every different time of the year. And I believe that there are people out here in these organizations, the ones that because they have schools for marketing and promoting. So you have schools in Britain and England and all these places who basically show people how to market and promote efficiently. Not only efficiently, professionally. Certain colors can make you hungry. Certain colors and different numbers and things like that can make you pay closer attention to what you're hearing, even if you don't want to. It's a marketing scheme. It's a marketing scheme. It does something to your psyche. It does something to your mind, like McDonald's with the yellow and red. Those are colors that make you hungry, that make you enticed. Like, I feel a little hungry now. Look at them two colors, the way that they spell their name and everything, the golden arches. They came out with a whole scheme and everything because it's more conducive to, it's something that's more likely to make you hungry, to make you want to stop and get a sandwich from them. You know what I mean? And it's a lot of that going on. The lamest person wouldn't even realize this is going on in their mind. There's a lot of things that goes on in your mind without you even knowing that it's happening to you. You know what I mean? A lot of things, especially when you're not a real deep thinker. When you're not a real deep thinker, a person could say anything at any moment in time and make you think something completely opposite of what you should be thinking, or make you say something opposite of what you really may be feeling. You know, there's not many people that really understand things on that type of level. You know what I mean? Where you could clearly perceive a thought that's yours, or a thought or feeling that's coming from somewhere else. You know, and it's that type of energy right there. You know, it's that type of energy that that lets me know that there's people tapping into your energy. It's definitely people tapping into our energy. I believe the younger you are and the older you are, the easier it is to tap into your energy. You know, I heard from older people. I don't know if this still go on, but I heard from older people that's probably in their 60s, you know, mid 60s, 70s, that when you was born, when babies were born back in the day, they would take electrodes. They would put like electrodes on the baby, you know, to give you like a kind of a shock therapy, kind of, right? Now, who else do they do that to, right? They do that to so-called people who lost their mind, right? So-called people that lost their mind, they go into these places that perform what? To get your mind back right, or to get you back to a sane place. You know, if the med's not working and stuff like that, what do they want to do? They want to give you shock therapy. They want to, you know, shock whatever craziness out of you, or whatever you're not supposed to know out you. That's what I believe the shock therapy is there for. The shock therapy is to shock you back into a state of unknowing the known. When they could stick you in this place, right? Say you have a spiritual awakening. And a lot of people know a spiritual awakening comes with some level of spiritual communication. How would you hear this spiritual communication between you and a higher power or higher being, or God, whatever it is, right? God, or whatever entity you believe is God or is acting like God in your life, right? If you if you get that spiritual awakening, right, and you're in contact with that energy and you're having, conversations with whatever it is that you're hearing or feeling or whatever. Once they put that shock therapy on your ass, you're not gonna have that connection no more with a higher power or a higher entity or whatever it was, a spiritual connection, mental connection, whatever it was. After they give you the medicines and after they shock your ass, you're not gonna be feeling that no more. You're not gonna have that same connection no more. Right? Because that's what they give it to you for. They give it to you to normalize you, to sober you up, right? To sober you back down to where they want you at. So this way, you're not acting all goofy out here talking to yourself because you don't know how to handle having a connection with a higher power, a higher spirituality, a higher being. Um, sometimes, sometimes it could be your ancestor. Sometimes it could be somebody that passed, and you just can't handle hearing that person's voice in your mind, because Sir Isaac Newton said No energy is destroyed, it's merely transferred from one place to another. So there is no real death. This body may pass, but once the body passes, the mind, the consciousness, and also the spirit returns back to a place, right? So that means technically that energy, that essence, that spirit, you know, that you want to call it, is still there. That consciousness is still with that soul. And if you can communicate with that consciousness, it will be able to tell you all types of things, secrets, what to watch out for, who to trust, who not to trust, who's going to stab you in your back at a certain point in time. It can help guide you and help you stay on your path and do what you have to do for you, for your family. Um, they don't want you to have that type of connection. If they didn't want you to have that type of connection, then they shock your ass. Put you in a nut house, have you getting test on and taking drugs to suppress that ancestor or those ancestors or whomever it is that you're getting in contact with or who's getting in contact with you. Because sometimes you can't help who you get in contact with or who get in contact with you, rather. Yeah, they got people that do, rituals and stuff like that and try to conjure up a spirit or some type of entity or whatever. But then they have people who don't perform rituals and things like this, who just passively, out of nowhere, may have a thought or image. Sometimes you get a full blown mental image, um, or even a conversation, some words that's coming from what seems to be inside of you. And you hear these words and you could clearly see these images, words, and you could feel these feelings, but they're not yours. The emotions, they're not yours. The words that you're hearing sometimes are not yours. Where's that coming from? See what I'm saying? That's why I choose to be more on the spiritual side of things. My theocracy, right? My theocracy is this. We are apart from this earth and we're apart from whatever it is above, whatever it is, the star system, the universe. We're part of that and we're part of this earth. But you have people or entities or whatever it is here on this earth that don't want you to be able to tap into your full potential. I believe that the energy that they get from you and the energy that you emit like yourself, they can see exactly what vibration that you on. They can see exactly what frequency you on, and they could choose to do things in your life that'll either stimulate your frequency so it can raise higher, or to diminish your frequency that you're on, so that way it'll vibrate lower. Your frequency will vibrate you'll vibrate at a lower frequency because they don't want you to know your full potential or feel your full potential or ever reach your full potential. Unless you pay, of course, you got to pay to play. You know what I mean? So unless you pay, or sometimes even if you pay, you're not going to ever get what you're supposed to get out of, you know what I mean, out of really being you without being uninhibited at all. Because that's the game. That's what the energy grid is there for, to inhibit you a bit. You know, it's a great tool, but it's a tool that they use against you in a lot of ways. You can use the energy to power up a laptop so that way you can record videos and music and everything like that. You could use the power to run generators to save lives and things like that. But you could also use it to spy on people, to send people crazy ass messages, to do all types of evil shit. You know, you could use it to, you know, set people up, exploit them, and all types of things. You know what I mean? You could also use people energy to attack other people when you feel, when you deem it to be fit to do so, right? Not you per se, but whoever's in power. You know, they know more about you than you could say you know about you, right? Because, okay, let's say you getting in contact with somebody, or you know you're looking up certain things on your phone, this and that. They know what you're capable of, they know what you're thinking about doing, and they know who's thinking about you. So they know exactly how to plan and strategize and all that stuff. Like, they already have a plan A, B, C, D for your entire life, just in case you go off the rails, just in case you start to think differently. In fact, they know exactly where you're going to be at what points in your life, because they control all of that as well. It's a very fucked up system. It's a very, it's a slaveocracy that you're living in. You know, that all of us are living in, basically. You know, it's basically that. You know, we're basically slaves in a lot of different ways. And it's like, ugh. Like, once you notice these type of things, you can't really, it's hard to just go back to doing things that, like, okay, I can notice it, right? I can notice it and pretend not to be aware of it when you haven't fucked with my life. Put it that way. When when you haven't fucked with my life, and you haven't put me, right, in certain predicaments with my family, with my community, with people that I trusted, with people that I loved, right? Then I might be able to go back to doing things the normal way, right? When you haven't fucked with a person's life. Not just me, it's like, it's plenty people all over America who lives been fucked with, right? Who lives been played with by the powers that be, controlling energy, aliens, whatever it is, aliens, energy, both put together. However you look at it, there is plenty people all over America who went through things and who tried to get help and never got help. Those of us, most of us, cannot get back to living our life regular no more, because they know that shit just not regular. Shit just not regular. That's why you pop up with so many people on the YouTubes. That's why you pop up with so many different podcasts. That's why you pop up with so many different opinions on things. And it's great, because all of us, the ones that feel this way, the ones who've been through a lot of shit. Like, earlier, I had a podcast, a podcast planned out, doing a podcast um about being abused. I'm gonna put it that way. I was going to do a podcast about being abused, right? Because I've been abused in my life before. I've been abused in my life, on different levels: physical, spiritual, mental, you name it, the whole gamut. I've been abused before. You know what I mean? I'm gonna tell you like this: most abusers who've been abused become abusers, right? Is that syndrome. It's like a sickness. Once you make somebody sick, it's just like suicide. If you was to ever kill yourself or something like that, You passed around the idea. You've gave people a sickness because now, especially your children, your loved ones, and things like that, they might not admit it to nobody, but if there's somebody close to them that they really love, and they kill themselves, you just gave them the thought like, damn, if they could do it, then I could do it. You know what I mean? You might make your kids go down that road one day. That's why you can't ever take your own life because it's a disease. It's a mental illness that will affect your loved ones, right? You should never even think about it. And if it's ever been thought, you should really keep it to yourself. Or hope if it's somebody that know about it who stopped you from doing it, keep it to their fucking self. Because a lot of people out here that will literally tell you that it's okay to hurt yourself or do something to yourself, when that's never the case. It's never the case that it's okay for you to ever do something to yourself or hurt yourself. Just like it's never okay to abuse somebody, sexually abuse them, mentally abuse them, spiritually abuse them. But this is what's happening to us on a everyday basis. A lot of people is being abused in America and they don't even realize they're being abused spiritually by whatever religion they're in or whatever cult they're a part of and don't know. Some of them could just be getting told or taught a cult like mentality by somebody who knows how to preach this type of stuff to you. And they'll have you on a cult like mentality, um, separating you from everybody and basically guiding your life in a way that you don't agree with. But you're so caught up in this cult like mentality that you can't tell that you don't know right from left. You fucked up in the head because they got you. On the spiritual level, on the mental level too. Because spiritual transcends the physical. It's a deep thing. Now, taking advantage of on a physical level is when somebody raping you, somebody abusing you, somebody beating you, stuff like that. A lot of us adults have been touched as children. That develops the illness. A lot of dudes or women, whoever, who've been touched when they was little, they wind up touching people when they get older. Once again, if you ever been touched out there, you got to realize that that's something that's a burden that falls upon you, where you cannot pass that illness on to anybody. No children, nobody. You can't touch people inappropriately or abuse anybody physically. You know what I mean? And pass that illness on to anybody. If it happened to you, you got to understand something. That person that touched you, they had that illness because somebody touched them. They went through something in their life. They were either orphaned or they was just, they were sexually abused or something. They think is okay. So now when they get older, they're going to think the same thing. No, it's not right. You know what I mean? It's not right at all. Mental abuse is spiritual, mental, all of these different levels of abuse is bad. And they give you different emotions. They give you different energy. They bring about something different in the world for you and how you live and things like that. Then you got this trauma built up where you gotta go to some people go to therapy, some people just search their own soul. Some people, they drink themselves away, they become addicts, they become addicted to something to get past whatever it is that they've been through in their life. Right? But either way, it's like that energy is there and you'll never be the same. Once somebody's abused you physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, you'll never be the same again. That's how it is when you when somebody tries to exploit you, when that's how it feels, to be honest with you. Whenever you're living in your truth and you're trying to tell something to the government, to the world, to the FBI, the CIA, whomever it is, that you've been done wrong, and then they don't help you out, or they treat you like it never happened or whatever, you feel like you've been raped. You feel like you've been abused. You feel like what for? Like what is all this even for? What am I even trying to, do this for? Because I understand that there's things that happen to me that is like why am I even trying to participate in this rat race? Like everything is just normal. When something happened in my life and shit just didn't, like, nobody came to my aid, nobody helped out. So why am I gonna live my life um and try to help out the system and continue to be an active participant in whatever system is going on? Like, you know what I mean? When somebody can show you that they can do whatever they want to do in your city, out your city, I don't know, I have no clue. But it's like when somebody could show you things like that, it's like, can you go back to being just you? Like, can you go just fall back in line and just, like, seriously? You don't trust the cops no more. You don't trust nobody no more. Like, you're different. You're just different. It's just different when you realize that there's people, there's forces. Like, okay, our government is really not here working for us. Whatever higher power that is, whatever ancient civilization they got giving them this technology and this spirituality or whatever it is that's given the government and the organizations that support the government doing legal organized crime. Once you realize that they don't really give a fuck about you and they could do anything with you that they want, it's like, why even keep participating? Why even keep the charade going? Like, I try to put on a good face every day. I try to, you know, put my best shoes on. You know what I mean. I try to go about my life like everything is, as normal as can be. But it's really not. It's really not. And it's, like I said, I came up with evidence and all of this in my situation. I don't know about nobody else's situation but my own. And, it just, to me, it's mind blowing that you could be a part of a place, but not really ever feel a part of a place, or not really ever be a part of a place, or never really have a place that's behind you and it'll stand up for you. You know what I mean? Anytime they let people who are known criminal organizations, do things to your grandmother's life, to your mother's life, to your life, to your children's life, and they just let it happen and let it go on because they are what, they got some type of influence or power. You know what I mean? It's like these people shouldn't be able to be here getting away with anything that they want to get away with. These people shouldn't be allowed to play the games that they play with people on a daily basis. You know what I mean? Like, I've contacted all different types of agencies and shit like that just to try to get rectification or try to get help with my situation. And it's like, it ain't happening. It's not happening. I mean, and it's not happening fast enough. If it is happening, if I am getting help by anybody or any, it's not happening fast enough. You know what I mean? To be honest with you, you know, I always feel like a level of like tenseness or like just not feeling safe, because It's like you're dealing with people that has money, that has property, who's connected to different organizations and things like that, and who has influence and shit like this, and who has that power structure, basically. You know what I mean? Who is tied into all these different places and things, and it's like you let these people get away with fucking murder, basically. Our government let these people get away with murder, you know, and I added it all up, man. It's like, you know, the mafia is really the government. That's just how they play, you know, that's just how they play games with people. Basically, when the government wants to do something illegal, they do it under the guise of being mafia. You know what I mean? Because all they got to do is let them get away with it. You know, they can slap somebody on the wrist, one of these people on the wrist or something like that, or just flat out, you know, say that they can't solve whatever, slap them on the wrist, and they don't have to worry about a whole fucking United States of America coming down on them because they're doing, you know, deals with people, or they doing this or doing that. Even the drug thing back in the day, when the mafia, on all the mafia movies, they say, "Hey, we don't condone dealing drugs and stuff like that." That was even a ploy because they was the ones bringing it the fuck in here. So, you know, when it comes to drugs, guns, and things like that, the government, i.e., the mafia, whatever, you know, if they want to be on the illegal side, then they the mafia. If they want to be on the legal side, then they act as politicians and government, or FBI and feds and CIA and shit like that. And it's like, it's a slap in the face to any American's freedom, any native born American's freedom, anybody who's, you know, from this United States of America, basically. It's not Turtle Island no more, it's United States of America. Anybody living here and they feel a certain level of repression, depression, like the energy's being used or stolen for different reasons or manipulated for different reasons, is because these people, the ones that they use, are attached to those organizations, those corporations, that mafioso family. And it's like, that goes back all the way back to Roman times and things like that. So they think that they're spiritually attached to something greater than what you're attached to. Or even if they think or fathom that you attached to something greater than they're attached to, they're here to keep you in check. They're here to keep you in line. And they're here to do that even if you are in check or in line by yourself with your own morals and values, standing on your own business, and taking care of your family and things like that. You know, your grandmother, your grandfather could have been dealing with them, with those type of people in the past for whatever reason. And because of that, if they like your family or don't like your family or whatever the case may be, they'll come fuck your life up for that. And you just living your life. You just an innocent bystander. You just happen to have the wrong mom or pop that they don't like. You know what I mean? The wrong mom or dad that these people don't like. And now they fucking with your life. You know what I mean? Somebody did something in the past that crossed them or fucked them over, or they just don't like a specific person or a specific, you know, family or whatever. Because it's never about just one person. They might not be so fond of a specific family or something like that. And next thing you know, they're gonna make generations and generations and generations of your family pay. And even if they are fond of you, they'll rather make you look crazy than admit that they got some ties to you and they need something from you. So they'd rather just fuck you over and have you look stupid or have you go into jail or something like that so they could get over and do whatever it is that they want to do to you. Point blank, period. You know what I mean? And these people, you know, these, you know, whatever, aliens, these energy thieves, demonic people, people who swear that they holier than thou, they got a monopoly. And I keep saying that they got a monopoly on this whole fucking city. And I believe that this shit goes on in a lot of different cities. They got a monopoly on Philadelphia with their active denial system and they tapping of the electricity grids and all that shit. And then them having the biggest fucking real estate property company in Philadelphia, Scanapico real estate company. You know what I mean? I even got a text message that I posted on my social media, on all my social medias, where one of the girls was threatening me. You know, Georgia Scanapico was threatening me. I got on Facebook Messenger messages from Stephanie Scanapico's supposed boyfriend who's locked up in jail, McKinley Woods. And this dude, you know, hit me up for her from jail and shit like that. A dude that I don't know, never knew in my fucking life, trying to act friendly with me and shit. You know, my grandpa, who I believe, Alonzo Brown, I don't like calling him my grandpa, but who I believe used to be an enforcer for them, you know, running around extorting people and shit like that for them. And they got a bunch of families and people like that that they use as enforcers or so-called extortionists and things like that. It's so sad that I don't even know if the people that does this shit for them even know that they're doing it for them. Or maybe I'm giving them an easy out or, you know, an escape or whatever. Maybe they have these conversations in their Masonic lodges and in the halls and shit like that when they tell them to put all their cell phones up. Because that's how it go. You know, when they had that meetings, normally they meetings be, they be in their robes and they don't have no phones and no electronics and none of that type of shit on them. Because this is how they know everything about all of us. You know what I mean? Anytime you got anything with an infrared IR beam on there or camera or voice, you know, record or phone, whatever. As long as it's a voice module, you know, shit like that, they got you tapped. You tapped all day. You know what I mean? They know everything about you. They know you better than you know you. Trust me. You know, it's dictatorship hidden under the guise of democracy. You know, what we're going through in America. You know, you don't have to see it that way if you don't want to. But anytime they can manipulate how they want your life to go, how they, you know, how they see fit for your life to play out and things like that. And trust me, I know it seems far-fetched, but if you really do your homework and you really do your research, and if you've been tampered with before by these people, you know, by these different organizations, then you know what I'm talking about, and you know what I'm saying is right. You know what I'm saying is true. You know what I mean? I'm just putting it out there because I do believe that these people are attached to. I don't want to say the Anunnaki or nothing. I want to say like some demonic shit. Like for real, I do think it's like some demonic sacrificial shit that they do for our energy. I don't think it's about the Anunnaki wanting. You know, I think that was probably in the past year. The Anunnaki probably wanted gold or something like that. They said from one of these ships or something, so they could get back to Narubuku. I forget. I don't know how to say it properly, but to their home planet. But I believe now is more so. You know, I even believe that the Earth was a ubiquator at one time. I know my English is fucked up. Ubiquator, you know, so they could like have different people mix and amalgamate with each other, so they could come up with different spirits, different characteristics, different people basically, and they'll have people mixing and matching and things like that. That's what I thought America was, but on a level, it could be all three. You know, it could be a holy trinity of things, just like we're three things, the holy trinity of you, the physical, the mental, and the spiritual. It could be a holy trinity of the way that they use you and manipulate you while you're here. Because there's more life. There's definitely more life, right? But the thing is, why do they try to? Why do they manipulate this life? Why is this the one that's so manipulated? And when we move on from this, is our next level of life going to be manipulated in the same way? Or are we caught in some vicious fucking cycle where our energy is just being recycled, re-put into another body, rebranded and repurposed, for a different reason? It's like at that point you just don't know. At that point you at this point where I'm at, you just don't know. I mean, my hypothesis is that it's all about aliens and the energy that they stealing from you. I believe that these people are not even spiritual. These people are not even spiritual. They're a totally different entity than us. They're not spiritual at all. And what they do is they steal the energy of spiritual people. A spiritual people, i.e., Native Americans, i.e., very passionate people like the Cubans and shit like that. Um, I do believe that they just steal our energy. They want our energy. They want your energy to be close in proximity with their energy for some reason. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe there is a higher power watching them, and the higher power can't tell exactly how they treating you in your everyday life, but they know when it's some of you around. You know what I mean? So they'll just keep your people in bondage and around and enslaved, so they can at least say, "Well, hey, we got some of them down there. They aren't all abolished, or we haven't ridded the earth of these type of people. You know what I mean? Or these specific set of people. You know what I mean? We still got some of them here and there and this and that. So they could show them and okay, they're still around. Okay, you know what I mean? I think that maybe you know they're just on a quota to have certain people, just like your job. Just like at a regular place you work at. When they might have a lot of white people working there, but they say that they got to get more diversity. They like to call it diversity. So what they'll do is they'll hire a few Mexicans, a few Spanish people, a few black people. Not a whole lot, not enough to, put too many of them in there. But they'll hire a couple just to, make the job seem more diverse and things like that. It's for that same energy reason. It's for that same quota reason. Why I believe that America allows so many Cubans to be in here, so many Mexicans, so many Puerto Ricans, so many blacks, so many whites, things like that, because they got to keep it diverse. They got to keep it, mixed up, just like with prisons. How you have different prison populations with different people and different sets of people and things like that. Then you add in the splash of homosexuality or whatever to keep those numbers of the people that you brought in to appease whoever's watching the numbers, that to make sure that those numbers don't get out of control. So it's people control. It's a lot of things going on that we don't even comprehend on the right level because we're too closed-minded. In a lot of ways, a lot of us are too closed-minded, man. A lot of us don't think properly. We don't see things the way it should be seen. I don't know why we don't see things the way it should be seen, the way, it's meant to be seen. But, really, we don't, some of us act like we don't see it all. A lot of us act like we don't see it all. You could see your brother going through something. You could see, you know, that he's going through something not of his own making. Um, something that's far beyond his comprehension or anything like that, you know, and you'll just still let him tumble down that road. You'll still just let him go through that. Family members going through shit that people could help out with, that people could say something about, and they'll just let him keep tumbling down that road. And it never was like that before. You know, it never was like that before. You know, it's like we don't help one another. We don't care about one another. You know, that's how I know this slavery shit is real, and it's not just physical no more, man. It's just spiritual and it's mental. It's just spiritual and it's mental. That's why I don't even like going on this camera, because sometimes I can't even get a proper thought together without having my shades on. I can't even put a proper thought together anything if I'm sitting up here looking in this camera lens too intently, or letting this camera lens, you know, take me. You know, they say the window to the soul is through your eyes in many ways. So I don't like looking into a camera with my direct eyeballs. You know what I mean? Because the shit, it does something to you. It does something to you. All this electricity, yeah, we got to use it. We're in tune with it. We're in tap with it. But it's like all this electricity shit, all the electronics and shit that we have on an everyday basis, all day, every day, it's not good. It fucks up your energy. It fucks up your soul, man. It fucks up your mind in a lot of ways. You know, it fucks us up. I mean, if you're using it to create, if you're using it to make money and things like that so you could support your family, great. But if you're just on here just being a dickhead, or just looking at YouTube all day, or looking at Instagram and Facebook, and not really trying to look up any useful information to make money, or try to make the phone make money for you, or try to utilize it as a tool, so that way you could, you know, do something, artwork, or some type of arts and crafts or something with it. It's like, it's pointless for you to even have one of these fucking devices, or multiple of these devices. You're supposed to use these drones as tools to create. That's what I look at them as now. You know what I mean? Tools to create. If I'm not on one of these drones trying to make some money, or make some content to put on YouTube, or to make a song, or to write a book or something like that, I don't even want one of these electric devices near me. That's how deep it is. I don't even want an electric device near me, electronic device, a phone, computer, none of that shit. I don't want it near me. Because all it's doing is monitoring you, sending you vibrations, and you sending it vibrations back. Especially ones that you wear on your body, like these smartwatches and shit. And this not even like a full-blown iWatch or nothing. This is a fucking Amaze Fit, right? But it's still good enough to track your heart rate, to track this, to track that. God knows what else is tracking. You'll never fully know what your electronic device is capable of, unless you put it in the hands of somebody who's able to bring the best out of it. I'm gonna put it that way. They know how to get in there and do some freaky shit with these electronics, and make them do everything that you didn't know they could do, plus more. You know what I mean? I'm telling you. They don't be having people sitting at the table snitching on you no more. You know who they have over on the other side of the interrogation table? Siri. Exactly who they sit there. They sit your motherfucking phone on the other side of that interrogation table, and they sit there and they eat their food while your phone tells them everything about you, and everything about the people you've been calling and texting and messaging, and all your emails and all this shit. All of it is tapped. All of it is tapped. It's an energy, I'm telling you. It's about them stealing your energy And I think they're doing it for aliens. You know, you could call an alien what you want. You could think about little green people and all that shit. When I think of alien, it's some alien. It's something other than what's physical. When I say alien, I mean like demon, something that's alien to this world, or maybe it's not alien to this world, but it's something alien to me. I'm thinking about Nephilims, fallen angels, demons, devils, all types of different energies and entities, whatever it is. If it's doing something bad to you and your people, it got to be demonic. If it's doing something, if it's doing something opposite of good for you and your people, and how you used to live in your life and all that type of shit, then it got to be demonic. And in my case, it's definitely fucking demonic. It's definitely something evil that I'm dealing with, and it's not of my doing. It's, none of this shit is of my doing. But there has been an evil force or some type of evil energy or something like that who is stealing energy from my people. You know, my people in the total. I'm not talking about one set of people. I'm talking about Cubans. I'm talking about Native Americans. Yeah, I'm talking about the Irish too. Y'all Irish got some shit with y'all though. And I say that because the lady who, set me up, she's Irish and Italian. I love my Irish people, but y'all got some shit with y'all. We got some shit. I got some shit with me too. Cause I'm you, I'm them, I'm shit. I'm mixed with anything that you could think of, I'm mixed with. Irish, Cuban, and Native American. I never heard of no combination like that. Maybe I did. Maybe somebody just ain't say something. I don't know. And that's what I am, man. Like you know, I just figure shit out. I just like to figure this shit out because it affects my life. And I don't want this shit to affect my children's life anymore than it has to, you know what I mean? Any more in their life. I don't want them to be affected by the same shit that happened to me. Because that's like, if something ever happens bad to you in your life and you don't document it, then basically you doomed your legacy to make the same mistakes or bump into the same, go down the same road that leads nowhere. That's why you gotta document. You have to document. That's why the Jewish people, they always wrote journals and things like this and kept records and memoirs and shit. Because when they seen success, they want to mimic that success. And when they seen hardships, that's something that they don't want to repeat. They don't want their legacy and their grandchildren and their children to repeat the same things that made them have hardships in their lives. So that's why the Jewish people wrote a lot of ledgers and wrote a lot of journals and memoirs and things like that, so they can make sure that they pass this knowledge on. With us, we do the same thing, but a lot of our knowledge and things like that is stolen. A lot of our writings and our memoirs and our journals that was put on clay tablets and in rock form and things like that was stolen. And a lot of us who had the information didn't pass it on verbally, didn't give it to nobody because they died alone a lot of times. Or a lot of times they was killed or something like that because somebody knew the knowledge that they had. And they didn't want the knowledge to get out. They didn't want to see those people shine or be great. So they stomp out the elders so the rest of the people can't acquire that knowledge. Especially if the elder is the only one the last holder of the knowledge. The last airbender. You know what I mean? It's like, that's how it is, man. That's how this should be. We gotta change it. You know what I mean? We got to change it. We got to start sticking more together, man. We got to be more together. Because whether it's energy, whether it's aliens, whether it's for the energy, whether it's for aliens, whether it's for spiritual reasons, whether it's for whatever it is, the rituals that get done with a lot of you. A lot of you go through rituals and you don't even know that you're going through rituals and things like that. It's like, man, for whatever reason it is, it's just, we got to start being here for one another, man. We got to start listening to one another. You know what I mean? I've been listening to people speak, like Dane Calloway. I've been listening to his truth. I listen to other people's truth. I I dibble and dabble into a lot of different information, into the aliens, into this, into the Anunnaki, into spirituality, into intellectualism, into Scientology, into my own theocracy, and it's like through diving in all these different aspects and different spiritualities and religion and ancient mysticisms, and it's like, man, mm, it's a deep, deep thing, man. That's all I can say. It's a very deep, deep thing, and you know, you gotta, you gotta be, you gotta be very mindful of who you let close to you, and even if nobody's close to you, be mindful of what you do and the energy you put out there. Be mindful of your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions at all times. That's why they say think twice before you speak. You know what I mean? Sometimes you might have a good intuition to, get you out of trouble and this and that. But sometimes you gotta think before you speak, because the things that you may be speaking might not even be your own thoughts that you're thinking. You gotta make sure that whatever's coming out your mouth is appropriate to be coming out your mouth. And I know I'm one to speak, because at times I don't know what the fuck is about to come out of my mouth. The next word, it's like, do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? No, because you didn't even understand the words that came out your fucking mouth. Sometimes I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth next. That's why I got to sit back and think sometimes. Because, like I said, I'm still doing information. I'm still doing research, gathering information. Um, cross-referencing. I'm just cross-referencing my situation with other things that a lot of people been going through all over the United States, and seeing how it fit together, and seeing what parts of the pieces that I could put together. Where do my part of this puzzle fit? You know what I mean? The main puzzle that I'm trying to break down is Philadelphia in a nutshell. Philadelphia. Who is it controlled by? Why is it controlled by them? Why do they control it in the way they control it? And why is the people who's helping them help them? Are they doing it? Are they helping them unwittingly, or are they helping them willingly? See, that's a big thing too, because you could be going through it with somebody, and it's like they don't even know why they doing what they doing. See, a lot of people don't even understand what's going on, because they don't care to ever find out or understand about anything. They just want to move off of somebody else's word or somebody else's energy. They just want to move. They just happy to be doing some shit. Motherfuckers goofy, man. But listen, I'm gonna end this one. It's been like an hour and 20 minutes, man. I appreciate y'all for listening. If you sat through the whole John and really tried to get an understanding of what the fuck I've been talking about or what I've been saying, you know, it's like I'll drop the jewels in the middle of all this podcast shit. You know what I mean? I start off rough, and I know I start off pretty rough, with my podcast, because I'm still getting all my thoughts and everything together. I'm not sitting here with cue sheets to read off of. I ain't got cue cards to look at while I'm doing my podcast. It's just all coming from the top of my mind. So, with that being said, you got to excuse me for having to warm up into all this long talking and long speech that I be going through. So yeah, man, is that I've been doing a lot of gaming. I gotta get back to my music. I've been posting a lot of gaming content, and it's cool because it still support my music. It still shows that it's still okay. If you click on any of my shorts and things like that, you gonna hear my music. That's my music that playing on there, right? And it's like just me getting my music out there, somebody clicking who probably never heard one of my songs, and they get to hear my song on a game stream, on a podcast, or on a review, whatever it is I'm doing. It's like that's good for me. That's promoting myself. So that's why on my game streams you'll hear a lot of my music playing, because that's me promoting myself. I gotta get my stream sometime. Look, I'm getting out this motherfucker one way or another. I'm helping my family out one way or another. You know what I mean? You can take anything away from me, and I'm still gonna strive to be me and strive for my greatness in one way or another. That being said, man, this has been God Concept. I'm your host, Mr. Pagan. Over and out. Peace.